Day number 2, ASM. Day number 2 after the Seanote move. Got kind of a new, I guess, dating schedule around here, given the local events. But what I want to talk about today, specifically, what was going on up here with the Hennepin County Sheriff. What? Now, we all know that the judge ordered the Seanote to move. We all know the Seanote did move. We all know there were complications, and we do now know that the complications were driven by the Hennepin County Sheriff. From what I understand, the Turbine Guy understands, and I'm not sure how accurate, of course, I can only relay what I understand to be, is the sheriff was frustrated and concerned that how they were blocking the road up here at this intersection and others along the way was not appropriate and according to code. The sheriff was going to use that in order to stop the Seanote from moving. And there was something about Spring Park was supposed to block the road off a certain way, and Spring Park said, no, we're not going to, we don't have to, because they're only using one side, da-da-da-da-da. All this government stuff going on, stopping the Seanote. Well, what gets me, what gets the Turbine Guy, is how the sheriff actively tried to stick their foot in it. You can see one sheriff vehicle here. If you remember, there were two of them parked right there in a funny way, which would definitely have interfered with the Seanote moving along and around here. Now, the Turbine Guy does know, or does truly believe, that the sheriff was watching the Turbine Guy's video. Excuse me. Specifically, because when I came around and started filming them here, boom, they all disappeared into the building because they didn't want to be on camera, I guess. I don't know what the sheriff got to hide. But when I was walking around the two cars here and pointed out that they were still running, then in a minute or two, a couple of sheriffs came out and turned the cars off. And then when I was over here on the other side, hanging out in one of the trucks talking to one of the workers, I started going on about what the judge's order was. Get the boat moved, get the boat moved, and how childish the sheriff was being by parking a couple of cars, thinking that Paul, there we go, Turbine Guy fan, thumbs up, that Paul would actually go even though the sheriff said no. The sheriff was playing games, and I was calling him quite childish. Very childish that the sheriff would be parking cars and playing games and all that. Within a minute or two, those cars disappeared. So, quite obvious to the Turbine Guy, maybe others. Sheriff was watching, which, by the way, thank you for the view. I hope the sheriff subscribed to my channel. Why not? We've been watching it enough, I guess. But here's the crux of what gets the Turbine Guy. I understand that Paul's lawyers, the Seanote's lawyers, were here at night working with the sheriff trying to resolve the situation. It took over an hour and a half to resolve it. I mean, the boat didn't really start getting moved till around 2 o'clock, shortly before. It was ready to move at about 12:15 when the tow truck hooked up. So while you got the sheriff's in there talking to the lawyers, I also heard through the grapevine that they had to wake the prosecutor up. Talk to the prosecutor. I think, Turbine Guy thinks, they're pretty lucky they didn't have to wake the judge up. Can you imagine? This judge is already ornery about what's going on out here. Can you imagine how ornery he would have been if they had to wake him up just to get the boat from where it was to where it is? And now we all saw the move. Quite safe, no problems, no issues. Saw that hysteria was moved. This is what frustrates the Turbine Guy, and this is why I'm asking the question. Why oh why was the sheriff playing games? They had, in this parking lot, 6 vehicles I saw. There were reports that there were actually 8 sheriff vehicles. No, we can see one. Might be another one down around the other side or 2. They had all these Hennepin County Sheriff vehicles out on a night when there could be drunk drivers on the road or other things, standing by, waiting for what? They were parked in the yacht club next door, the yacht club building. They weren't parked any of the sheriffs except for the 2 blocking over here. And, doesn't the sheriff and the local police help block roads? What happens during parades? They block roads, they direct traffic, and that kind of stuff. Well, if the sheriff had an issue with how the roads were going to be blocked, why did they wait until midnight to bring up that issue? Why did they try to stick a fork in the wheel? Why did they have a ton of sheriff vehicles here, not ready to assist, but ready to do something else? That's a question I think needs to be answered. The Turbine Guy thinks the sheriff should answer that question. I'll tell you what, Hennepin County Sheriff, or the sheriff who leads this station, Turbine Guy is open to doing an interview, talking to you, and letting your side come out to what your issues were. Why did you wait till midnight? You knew this was going to happen. The court had ordered it 10 days before. Why didn't you work with Spring Park? Why didn't you just simply use your vehicles you had here? Another Turbine Guy fan coming by. Why, oh why, didn't you just simply send your cars around to block the roads? Why were you concerned that an entire group of people who showed up specifically to make sure the roads were blocked would not be able to block the roads to ensure safe transport? And why, oh why, the last question, given that they had 3 legal emergency vehicles here with the tow trucks, why didn't you just simply allow the tow trucks to do their job and block the road themselves, which they can legally do? Why, oh why, oh why? I would like to find out the answer. Once again, Turbine Guy is ready to do an interview with anybody from the sheriff's department. And I'm sure if they have nothing to hide, I'm going to get a phone call. Turbine Guy, signing out.